5 patterns with 23 worked examples to cover synthesis and transformation in PSLE English. We are aiming for a perfect 10. Welcome to SmartPathSG, where every student can learn, grow, and succeed. Welcome. We already covered pattern 1 and 2 in the previous lesson. Today we will go through the rest, conjunctions and connectors, active and passive voice, and lastly, mixed practice. Let's start with pattern 3, combining sentences with conjunctions and connectors. One rule overrides everything here. The meaning must stay exactly the same. Grammar right, meaning changed 0 marks. Here are the 6 most tested connectors that you should be very familiar with. The commonly confused pair are despite and although. Remember, despite takes a gerund or noun, such as despite being tired, while although takes a full clause with subject and verb, such as although she was tired. Question 1. She was exhausted. She continued to work late into the night. We are to rewrite and start with despite. Remember, you must use a gerund or a noun, not a full clause. The correct answer is, despite being exhausted, she continued to work late into the night. We use the gerund, being exhausted. If you see despite that, you know it's wrong. Only although takes a full clause. Keep despite with the gerund or noun. Question 2. The queue was very long. We decided not to wait. Rewrite with keywords. So, that. The adjective from the first sentence must fit right in the middle of these 2 words. The answer, the queue was so long that we decided not to wait. The adjective long goes between so and that. Importantly, there is no comma between so and that. The resulting action or consequence forms the rest of the sentence. Question 3. If you do not practice daily, your piano skills will not improve. Rewrite with keyword unless. Remember, unless already contains the meaning not. You must be careful not to create a double negative. The model answer, your piano skills will not improve unless you practice daily. If you do not practice becomes unless you practice, because unless means if not. We must remove the negative from the condition. If you write unless you do not practice, you create a double negative, which completely changes the meaning and will result in 0 marks. Question 4. The new community center has a swimming pool. It also has a library and a gym. Rewrite using keywords not only, but also. Make sure the 2 items you connect are grammatically parallel. They must be the same type of word or phrase. The correct answer, the new community center not only has a swimming pool, but also a library and a gym. The structure is subject, plus not only, plus item 1, plus, but also, plus item 2. Because the subject, the new community center, is the same, the verb has is understood and can be omitted for the second item, but the overall structure must remain parallel. Question 5. Min Yao broke the expensive vase. He admitted it. Rewrite and begin with Min Yao admitted to. What specific verb form must follow this phrase? The answer. Min Yao admitted to breaking the expensive vase. Admitted to is a fixed phrase that always takes a gerund. So broke becomes breaking. Other verbs that take a gerund include confessed to, objected to, resorted to, and looked forward to. Never write admitted to break. Now pattern 4, active and passive voice. This is all about changing the focus of the sentence. The active voice focuses on the doer, and the passive voice focuses on the action received. To change active to passive, the object becomes the subject, followed by was/were, followed by the past participle of the main verb, and finally, the by agent. The agent is who performed the action, and you can drop it when the doer is unknown or unimportant. Let's look at the first question. The school board announced the new timetable yesterday. Rewrite and begin with the new timetable. Now try apply the formula we just reviewed. The answer is, the new timetable was announced by the school board yesterday. The object, the new timetable, becomes the subject. Announced past simple becomes was announced. Passive past simple. The original subject, school board, becomes the by agent. The time phrase yesterday stays where it is. Question 2. The injured hiker was rescued by the emergency team within 2 hours. Rewrite and begin with the emergency team. You need to apply the formula backwards here to revert passive voice to an active one. The correct answer, the emergency team rescued the injured hiker within 2 hours. Was rescued by becomes rescued. When converting to active voice, you must remove was or were completely to form a simple active sentence. Question 3. Someone has stolen my bicycle. Rewrite with keyword been. What will you do with the subject someone? The answer, my bicycle has been stolen. The keyword been locks the structure for present perfect passive. We omit the agent by someone because someone is unknown and unimportant in this sentence. Question 4. Searchlights were used to guide the ship into the harbor. Rewrite and start with the ship. The ship is receiving the action, not performing it. What action is being done to the ship? The answer. The ship was guided into the harbor by searchlights. The ship is the thing being guided. The searchlights are the tool, or the agent. A common error is writing, the ship was used to guide. That's wrong, because the ship itself is being guided. Finally, mixed practice. In actual exam, you won't be told use reported speech or use passive voice. You have to identify the transformation from the given word, apply the right structure, ensure you maintain the exact meaning, and write one complete sentence. We will review 5 exam-style questions. Question 1. The film received mostly negative reviews. Thousands of people went to watch it. Rewrite and start with although. Remember the rule from pattern 3. Although requires a full clause, a subject, and a verb. The answer. Although the film received mostly negative reviews, thousands of people went to watch it. Don't forget the comma after the introductory although clause. Remember, although always takes a full subject-verb clause, while despite takes a noun. Question 2. Can you show me the way to the post office? The tourist said to the shopkeeper. Rewrite using keyword asked. This is reported speech, but not a standard yes, no question. It's a request. How do requests report? The answer. The tourist asked the shopkeeper to show him/her the way to the post office. Polite requests like, can you, report using the to infinitive. Asked, plus object plus to infinitive. You must also shift the pronoun me to him or her. Both are accepted. Question 3. The scientist won the Nobel Prize. Her research changed our understanding of climate change. Rewrite with keyword whose. Whose is a relative pronoun showing possession. It replaces the possessive pronoun her. Where should the new clause go? The answer. The scientist whose research changed our understanding of climate change won the Nobel Prize. Whose replaces her. The entire relative clause is inserted immediately after scientist, the noun it describes. Make sure the main verb won comes after the embedded clause. Question 4. Madam Ho did not buy the microwave due to the poor service. Rewrite and start with had it not. This is the very formal, inverted conditional. It means, if it had not been for. This is a tough one, so think carefully. The answer. Had it not been for the poor service, Madam Ho would have bought the microwave. The structure is, had it not been for, plus the cause, the poor service, followed by a comma, and then the result using quote would have, plus past participle. This converts a past action that didn't happen into a conditional statement. Question 5. You study hard. You will pass the examination. Rewrite and start with if. This is the simpler, real conditional. The answer, if you study hard, you will pass the examination. The structure is if plus present simple, will, plus base verb. Since the if clause leads the sentence, you must place a comma after it. Now let's summarize. To get full 10 marks for the S&T section, ask yourself these questions. For reported speech, which type is it? Statement, question, or command? For phrase openers, what noun follows the opener? For conjunctions, does it take a noun/gerund or a full clause? For active-passive, who receives the action? During exam, first identify the pattern signaled by the given words, then apply appropriate structure, and finally check the meaning is preserved. Finally, the S&T checklist. It covers tense backshifts, modal verbs, the difference between despite and although, the neither of was rule, and the formula for passive voice. Master these 10 rules, and you will ace synthesis and transformation. Thanks for watching. Head over to SmartPathSG.com to play our free PSLE practice game, or join our community for more tips and resources. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week.